We are finally live again, kinda. Well, not really live, but whatever. 2 days! Haven't recorded anything in 2 days, mostly because nothing is happening. No news of anything that's really meant to talk about. Nothing really going on.
However, we have found some topics to talk with you about.
Trying to make it sound like one of those fucking like one of those story videos or something that those fucking kids watch. I know. One of our little cousins watches those fucking things and they're so fucking stupid. But we can find something to talk about. Besides, we need all of your nice subscriber money. Yeah, remember to click on those ads for us. You'll really help us out a bit. But, I wanted to bring this up the last time we did a full podcast, which we haven't done in 2 days. And, during that podcast, we actually talked about quite a bit. We talked about the Women's Tournament. We talked about Ultimo Guerrero's car, that whole thing. We talked a bit about TNA. And TNA is going to India. They're doing their next set of tapings in India. Somewhere in Mumbai, I think.
And you know what? With all the stuff going on with gender, it's actually been making us wonder if maybe Sanjay Dutt and are gonna. That's what we were mentioning. I swear to God, if Mahal Bashir becomes the Impact World Champion somehow, heading into Slammiversary, I'm watching it.
I'm done. If he beats Lassie and fucking, I think the more likely thing was either if they're going to have one of them win, either Sanjay's winning the X Division title, or Shear's winning the Grand title. Poor Loki. I know he's a dick to everybody in the universe, but poor Loki, I enjoy him.
And he just got the title.
And then again, we have 8 titles running around.
And I don't know about Moose because he's been
here and there and everywhere.
Well, he's been representing TNA in Japan, the UK, like everywhere.
He's been everywhere other than TNA itself.
Basically.
They show video packages and the only thing...
Since we're talking about Impact...
Yeah.
We gotta talk about this. So, on Impact, if you watch Impact, you've obviously seen that there's been this little rivalry going on between Jeremy Borash, JB, and Josh Matthews. Well, Jeremy Borash is finally back in Impact after his suspension, thanks to the help of Joseph Park.
Crazy Steve left... And now poor Abyss has to be Joseph Parks.
However, Joseph Park thought that Josh Matthews could not find a partner, so he made a tag match for Slammiversary. Him and JB, Jeremy Borash, against Josh Matthews and a partner of his choosing. Hey, wait, I got this.
Who does
all the people?
Who does Anthem choose? Who does Anthem rehire?
In Impact's alumni history.
Who does Anthem decide to give a call and say, hey, come back for Slammiversary?
They decide to... Obviously, you need someone big to go up against Joseph Park / Abyss, whatever you want to call him.
Whoever you're going to call him, I'm just going to...
But the point is, you need someone his size, someone big like him.
You need somebody the crowd will remember.
And who was the first person they thought of?
I swear, this couldn't have been the first person. They couldn't have, sat there and we were discussing, who can we bring in? Bring in this guy. It couldn't have been their first. It couldn't have been.
First or not, they decided to bring in fucking big pump Scott Steiner.
And Scott Steiner, the literal thing was, he walks out.
And Steiner actually walks out.
Looking like an angry grandpa.
Jeremy Borash and Joseph Park / Abyss are literally...
I have to give credit to Abyss.
Crying tears.
I have to give credit to Abyss. He sold Scott Steiner perfectly with those tears of his.
He was literally crying when he saw Scott Steiner, and I don't fucking blame him. Freaking Scott Steiner goes into the crowd to chase JB, ends up knocking out a fan. I don't even know if that was intentional or not.
I don't know if that was... I think that was probably a plant.
Because the fan was like, hey man, take it easy, and he just he just threw shots.
I swear it had to be a plan, or else we'd be hearing by now Scott Steiner released by Impact.
And then Scott Steiner decides to put frickin' Joseph Park after he gets low blowed from Josh or Joey Matthews or whatever his name is.
Josh Matthews. Whatever his name is. He's not important enough to remember the name of.
Joseph Park in maybe the worst Steiner recliner I've ever seen in my life. Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, just stand the fuck up. Instead of drooling at the mouth trying to sell it.
Not even joking, at one point he had his one leg actually up and his one knee down, in a kneeling position.
I will admit that Joseph Park was trying to sell the Steiner recliner. He was trying to sell it, but he could have gone nuts.
It didn't look that bad.
It didn't look like it was fully locked. When Steiner really locks a Steiner recliner, you can't get off your knees because he puts you right on your knees. But instead, he just got him on the lower part. You need to be on the higher part to hold your opponent down. He had him on the lower part of his knees.
So Scott Steiner returned.
Frickin' Josh Matthews starts skipping around the ring, calling everyone idiots and saying,
I'll give credit. My God, not fucking Scott Steiner. Josh Matthews has been playing a damn good heel. Well, I'll give him credit. He's made me hate him.
And the Pope fucking sold it too. He sold it. Jeremy, get the fuck
sad?
out of there.
If I met Scott Steiner, and I'd be scared of both of them. Actually, I'm not gonna fuck with the Pope. Fuck 107 and 0 in fucking boxing. Fuck that shit.
You know what?
I'm out.
But honestly, this episode of Impact, even though it didn't have LAX and the Veterans of War, and it missed out on a couple other rivalries.
Missed out on a couple things that Luke Riley's been enjoying of Impact since its rebranding.
It wasn't bad, but there was one part that really interests me, and I know everyone's been talking about it. It's been really interesting everyone. Is the fact that freaking Rosemary came out to save Allie from Laurel Van Ness and Sienna.
I don't get the point of that. I don't understand that.
I think it's because of the fact that Sienna and Rosemary are going into SummerSlam in a titled unification match.
Look, we're on pay-per-view, not SummerSlam, Slammiversary.
Oh, sorry, Slammiversary. They all sound the same.
But, yeah, that's what I'm guessing what they're trying to tease is I'm glad that they're teasing a unification match. This better be a unification match. I'm not going to have Fran Rosemary be a dual champion, or whoever the fuck's going to be a dual champion. Unify the fucking titles. We have 8 titles running around. We need to unify them. We need to start unifying them. LAX wins this whole tag tournament, unifies the tag titles. There we go. Sienna or Rosemary wins, they unify that title. World title gets unified.
I don't know, though, because, you know what? The Veterans of War have been looking really dominant.
I swear. They've been making
we've already seen them brawl with LAX, and they kicked LAX.
For those who don't know...
The only way I can see LAX winning, this is not a spoiler, I don't know, this is my prediction.
We don't have any insight to Impact.
If LAX is going to win, it's going to be for one reason only.
Conan?
Nope.
Diamante?
Nope. And not Homicide either.
Who?
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
He's going to come back.
Does Hernandez still wrestle?
Yep.
He still wrestles.
Yep, he has a whole bunch of names now. I think one of his other names is Hot Stuff Hernandez or something. He actually has a name called Hot Stuff Hernandez or something like that.
Well, then, they brought back Scott Steiner.
We did talk about the girls, so I'd like to just throw this out there. I know this is an Impact. I know I'm going way off topic.
We're going way off topic here.
Congratulations are in order to Asuka, who defeated the streak of
Goldberg. Goldberg's undefeated streak, 180.
So now
Asuka holds the streak.
Now, this is obviously a joke. I don't want anyone to think I'm stupid, but...
This is a joke. This
is a joke.
No one get angry at us.
Does this mean we're finally going to get Asuka versus Goldberg? But don't.
I'd laugh at that match. Here's a tiny Japanese...
Probably would happen in freaking...
Here's a 51-year-old man and a tiny Asian girl. Oh god, it's Kenny Omega versus Riho all over again.
Sorry.
You know what's even more sad is that she's actually still a fucking wrestler. That kid.
I'm not shocked.
That Riho, she had been wrestling for a year before she did that whole Kenny Omega versus little girl shit happen. She had been wrestling for a year. She had been trained since she was like 11. She was like 12 at the time. But back on topic, congratulations to Asuka in order, beating a fucking streak. But you know what that means? She's going to lose her title soon. I mean, she's already the longest reigning NXT champion of any title. She's beat Goldberg's streak, like literally. What's the point of keeping the title on her?
And you've mentioned that you think it could end up possibly being Io Shirai.
I think Io Shirai is a good possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Io Shirai.
My prediction is
it's either
Amber it's going to be whoever wins the 32 women's
You think so?
tournament,
you don't think it's going to be Ember?
Or it's going to be Ember.
I have a good feeling. I have
a good feeling it's
the
Ember,
practical.
But at
the practical side of me says it's Ember. The practical side of me says it's Ember. But
however, I'm looking at the women's tournament, and all I can think is every tournament we've had so far, at the end of it, there's been a new champion of some sort. Even if it's been a brand new championship or the return of a championship or whatever, the point is
the end always involves a title of some sort, basically. And there's no real reason to believe that at the end of this tournament.
And they're honestly not gonna give them like a Mae Young championship or something. You know what I mean?
Before anyone speculates, there isn't going to be a new women's show.
And there's not gonna... I can't see there being a trophy. I mean, maybe...
They may do the Dusty Rhodes Classic
maybe a trophy, but like...
But even the Dusty Rhodes Classic, the guy's got a title shot.
Yeah, like, look what happened with...
Offers of Pain.
When
they beat TM61.
Look at Finn Balor and Samoa Joe. They won the whole Dusty Rhodes thing and then ended up fighting each other for the NXT championship.
It's a weird thing where the tournaments always involve a championship in some end.
Whoever
is going to face Asuka.
Or
Ember or whoever the hell's champion at the time.
Is going to face the NXT.
No, I can't predict who's going to be the winner because we don't even know anyone who's in the tournament. We don't know.
And we don't know who's calling it. We don't
know anything about the tournament other than the dates it's happening, what its name is. That's it. We don't have any names for who's wrestling. We can guess. We have a lot of good guesses, and there's some obvious people who are going to be in the tournament. But we do know that Jim Ross is one of the guys calling it, one of the people calling it, but that's just one.
And what do you think the other person's Veda Scott?
I've heard rumors. It's rumors.
Spoiler. This is just rumors. We heard that it could possibly be Veda Scott.
This is from people we know.
And it would make sense because she did manage Cedric Alexander in Ring of Honor. They still have a good
If they want to bring her in as a commentator or as a manager, then I guess this is the way to introduce her. I guess you could also bring in a veteran. Lita works the panels at pre-shows all the time, so she's a pretty obvious choice.
I think you're also going to get Renee Young
or that Curso or Carly or whatever her name is.
I don't know, but
Sorry, Carly or whoever your name is. I don't know your name.
Change my thing. You know what? I don't think Veda Scott's going to be calling it in anyway. I think she's going to actually be in it.
You think she's actually... Yeah, people seem to forget that Veda Scott, along with Taylor Hendricks, who mostly played managers on Ring of Honor, they're actual wrestlers too.
Yeah, like...
You can actually see some of...
Hendricks managed Jay
Lethal for a while.
And the House of Truth. And then...
Veda Scott managed a couple people.
Yeah, and then I see Taylor Hendricks on Women of Honor, and all I can think is, damn, she's really good at what she does.
She plays the cowardly heel pretty damn good.
And she has a big story behind her, right? Like with the whole having to go through cancer and all that.
She has that TJ Perkins story. Instead of being I was homeless, she has I had cancer. So you could be our TJ Perkins.
It's not even about that though. It's just the fact that I think you're gonna see people like Taylor Hendricks and Veda Scott and Kimberly and people like that. Like I think you're gonna see them in this tournament.
Candice LeRae's definitely in there too.
I think you're gonna also see a lot of former WWE divas as well that may want one more shot at gold.
Who they bring in? They brought in Kendrick. I think it depends.
And you never know who may, because I could see someone like Jazz. Just saying.
Jazz still wrestles for most who don't know.
Still wrestles, and she's still a fucking badass.
She's the NWA Women's Champion, actually.
And she's one of the toughest son of a bitches you'll ever meet.
Luke knows Jazz quite well.
I've watched her over the years. I know what she can...
Luke knows her kind of well.
I remember watching her hit a super fisherman suplex to Lita from the top rope at WrestleMania to retain the Women's Championship against Lita and Trish, who may be the two greatest women's wrestlers in WWE's history. Maybe. She's beat them both in the same night at WrestleMania.
No offense to WWE's women's history, but they probably are the best. I mean, there's not really a lot of women that could... I guess...
But you never know if you're going to get a call from someone like, say, Jazz, or a former star like even Karma, who may say, you know what? I want to be in this tournament. I want Asuka. I want whoever's going to be the champion for NXT.
Awesome Kong would be definitely an interesting choice. She's not signed with
especially since she's already been on the main roster. So if she wins, will she go back to the main roster?
No, I don't know, because Drew didn't go to the main roster. He went back down to NXT, so I don't think there's any real problem with them sending for... It also depends on who they... I think a big part of this tournament is also to get a bunch of girls to sign.
Yeah, that's also...
The difference between a lot of the tournaments is that you notice that a lot of the tournaments happen specifically to get talent.
And you're going to have to also... If Karma is in it, you're going to have to watch, because Karma's been posting how she's been losing a lot of weight, so she's not like what she was before. Like, she's still big, but she's not...
Awesome Kong will always be big.
But she's more on the, like...
She's getting a lot of health here. She's getting a lot thinner. She's getting a...
she's not more heavy. It's more of, like, she's more...
muscular.
Like, toned more. Like,
toned more.
But, like, I've seen photos of her now, and she barely has, like, a belly. She barely has a belly.
Now,
right? And it makes me think, right? Like, this may be a whole new side of her. She may... Because even I know this from, being heavy and everything myself.
Luke was once heavy.
Losing the
Luke was once heavy. Luke was once heavy.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, when you lose the weight, you move a lot faster. You become more agile. You become more aware. Right? You're more quicker. Right? And Carmel has always been quick. For a woman her size, she can hit you and throw you around as quickly as she can. Her running was kind of...
We're not here to judge. We're not here to judge her in ring town at this point. At this point, we're
running was really bad. I'm just gonna throw that.
If Awesome Kong's in this tournament, she's going far.
But if she has lost this weight, now she has her strikes, which have been known to be deadly, especially her spinning back fist, which has knocked out multiple women. Right, and then she just has all this quickness now, right? Because she's lost this...
WWE likes big girls.
She's a lot quicker. She's a lot faster now. So people aren't going to see this coming from her. Right now she has a quickness to her. So she has power, striking, and now she's quick. She's going to be a force to be reckoned with in the tournament
if she has a tournament, I think they are going to push her far. I can't see any situation where they don't push Awesome Kong far.
And it depends on who's been talking about making a return, right? Girls who have been saying maybe they would like to make a return in the future.
You can never trust people to think, oh, I think I'm going to make a return, because let's be honest. If you see some of those rumors where it's like, oh, this girl may be returning, and it's based on them saying, oh, I'd like to return, don't believe it. Because I'm going to tell you, and every person under the sun says, oh, I'd like to return.
However, if you do get Trish and Lita to even commentate the tournament...
Yeah, because Trish ain't going to be in it. Trish ain't. No. She's not. She just had a kid. Same with Beth. Beth ain't going to be in the tournament. I heard people say Beth was going to be in it. But,
there's been girls who have said, like, oh, if this person returns, I'll return. Right? If this person returns...
I'd like to see if they actually hold their fucking word.
So, I'm just thinking, right? if you do have someone like Trish and Lita in this tournament, right? If we do believe what people say,
which I don't.
Which I don't always believe.
I don't. If you hear any rumors on Trish, Beth, or Lita returning, don't believe them. I'm telling you right now, they aren't going to be in this tournament.
I mean, like, I'm just saying that if they are there, even just
in
to commentate, like in the commentator sense, you will probably, if she keeps her word, you will see Kelly Kelly.
God forbid.
Noah hates Kelly Kelly.
I hate her with a passion. I hate her with a passion. She can stay as far away from my TV as possible. I'm not into the girls who just got in because they could flaunt their boobs around. I'm not in for that kind of stuff. I'm not in for diva search girls most of the time. Some of them can be impressive, others haven't. As long...
See, this is where we disagree, because I don't think she got... I will admit at the beginning maybe she got in by flaunting, but you have to admit she really improved over the years and became an actual contender. Like, if you told me that Kelly Kelly was going to go into a match against Trish or Lita in their prime, ready to fight, I would tell you I think Kelly Kelly could take them on.
Do I think Kelly Kelly will ever be remembered as a great diva? No. Do I think that she will...
I don't agree with that. I think she's a multiple-time Divas champion.
Well, yeah, I guess I can't... Do I think she's a great diva? Not fully. I've seen a lot of great women's wrestlers over the years. Gail Kim, Asuka, Khan.
I'm not going to say that she's bad.
I'm not going to say she's bad. She's okay. But I'm not going to flaunt her as if she's something that's great.
Saying I don't fully...
Like WWE likes to treat her.
I don't fully agree with Noah on this.
Like how WWE likes to treat her like she's some sort of ultimate legend.
Now, if somehow you end up getting Eve Torres...
That's different. That's different.
Oh. I'm going to tell you right now that Eve may win the whole goddamn
I don't
tournament.
know if you... Eve, since leaving the WWE, has gone from being Eve Torres to being a fucking Gracie. That's how I see it. She went from being a She became a Gracie.
If you know who the Gracies are, if you know who
then get the fuck out of here. If you don't know who the Gracies are, get the fuck out of here. You don't deserve to be listening to this podcast.
But if you know who they are, then you also know that they are legit. They are one of the most legit families in mixed martial arts history.
You can actually watch a lot of these training videos. You can watch a lot of her videos on YouTube.
Sorry, I was about to say Kelly Kelly. Eve Torres, who is now Eve Torres Gracie,
looks like a fucking killer.
Not only is she toned, but she's been training with the entire Gracie family. Her and her husband trained their toddler child, who knows all of their mixed martial arts moves. And she's only like... She or he's only like 3 or 4, I think, not even.
Eve Torres looks like a fucking killer nowadays.
And I watched one of Eve Torres...
I've seen quite a few of her videos.
I saw one guy on top of her, and she was able to grab his shirt from behind and bring it around and choke him with his own shirt.
She looks like a fucking killer. She looks like a killer.
She can choke you with your own shirt, you know she is not a person to fight. Even Asuka. Because she'll probably end up choking Asuka with her hair. And then Asuka will probably get mad and start kicking her in the head. That'll make Eve mad and she'll just
It depends too on how they treat Eve. Eve is one of the people who...
remember, Eve had a very nice moveset. Swinging neck breaker. Popping moonsault. Diving moonsault.
Before anyone comments, yes, Luke likes to keep kayfabe alive.
Even the...
It's part of Luke's gimmick.
She even used to do frickin'... She would sit on the top rope, right? Her feet would be on the second rope, right? And the girl would come up to her. She would grab the girl's arm and basically turn her into a cross arm bar and make her tap. When someone can do that to you, and Asuka can catch you in the air and put you in an armbar. I think Eve could do the same thing. So if Eve Torres is in it, she's one of my top 3, guaranteed.
I haven't seen Eve wrestle in quite a few years, so I don't know how she'll be in the ring. I don't want to judge her, but if judging by her mixed martial arts videos and her videos, in her training videos, my God, she looks like a fucking killer. Treat her like a killer if you can. She has the Gracie name now, and granted, I'm sure they'll definitely market through that.
And we don't also know who else we're gonna get, right?
No, we don't know. I like to clarify, we don't know any person in the tournament. We don't know one person. None of them. There's 32 women. We don't know any.
know you could end up getting Stacy Keibler or Tori Wilson.
For all you know, you could get some random ass girl from Detroit who you've never heard about.
Or even someone like Caitlyn, which I would definitely not mind.
Who says you're going to get someone that you know? Who says we're going to get someone that... There's no reason. You will look at the Cruiserweight fucking Classic. Do any of you guys know who... Does anyone know who Raul Mendoza is? Anyone? No. No one knows who he was. No one really knows who he is. But he was in it. Why? Because you got to fill spots. That's the whole point. You can't have a full tournament of just infinite people.
Oh, I didn't even think about her either in this tournament. I just looked at this. See, we formally had a list for a roster for. But anyways, the point is, I was looking at this, and I saw a name that's been in the Performance Center. You know, and she's been training hard and
here's a bit of inside. Here's some insider information.
They've been talking about bringing her into NXT and.
Hey, here's some inside information courtesy of Uncle Regal himself.
But I'm just throwing this out there. There is the potential that you could see the daughter of Mick Foley in this tournament. Noelle Foley.
I've heard that too from people. I've heard that Noelle could end up in it. I heard that her training's going okay. I heard that it's not going too well. But
if all else fails, she copies her father.
Yep, we're just gotta go.
Bang bang, mandible claw, and the double arm DDT.
Yep, basically that. As you know, it's easy to give a kid of the child of a wrestler just copy that wrestler. Something I personally don't like. I mean, could you imagine Randy Orton if he was just a copy of Bob Orton?
Well, he has done his father's superplex in the past as a move in honor of.
Yeah, but treating him like a cowboy, Randy Orton.
No.
It's kind of like what they originally did with Charlotte on the main roster, where they just made her a copy of Ric Flair. But at least now, Charlotte's kind of branched out and tried her own things now. Charlotte's developed. And that's one thing I don't like. I don't like when wrestlers just basically copy. And
I'm going to say it. This whole welcoming committee thing is not working.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Let's get away from the women's tournament, which we've already basically dedicated a whole last podcast to. And let's talk about let's talk about SmackDown for a minute. Let's talk, because we don't give SmackDown's women's division enough attention here sometimes. It's horrible. I hate it. Don't get it. Natalia's your new top heel. Yes, that's a downgrade from Alexa Bliss. Yes, it's a downgrade from Mickie James.
I'm going to admit one thing. I freaking love not only Naomi's entrance, but I'm liking her as a champion. She's doing a good job as a champion, and she has a move list that's unseen. Like,
Luke, before anyone asks, yes, Luke likes to talk about movesets. Luke likes to talk about moves.
I think a moveset isn't important. If you don't have a good moveset, who's really going to want to watch you? Like, if my whole moveset is basic moves like neck breakers, DDTs, and suplexes, what the fuck?
Or if you're Will Ospreay, who just does 25 fucking flips.
But if I do a freaking cradle flip pile driver, which obviously is banned from the WWE, but I'm just throwing that out there as an example.
Oh, and this is not us justifying indie flippy midgets. And no, not every person who flips is a flippy midget. If you don't know what we classify as a flippy midget, well, you should probably go back and listen to some of the air podcasts. But if you're an indie flippy midget, and they know who they are, we know who they are. I'm not going to say any names because they're obvious. But the big thing about the moveset is trying to find that balance. You don't want to just be a guy who's doing like 30 suicide dives
and then doing to match your character. You're not going to do a move that doesn't.
You're not going to be a guy like the Big Show, and you're going to do a freaking somerset flip or a freaking moonsault.
Granted, guys like Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow,
it worked with them.
That was their thing.
That was their thing. They made it their thing. But if you're, and this also goes for even smaller guys. Like if you're a wrestler who's like 210 or less pounds, that doesn't give you an excuse to just keep doing endless flips and dives and over the ropes, buddy. I'm gonna tell you, you're killing your own career here. You're making yourself less. You're making yourself less credible.
And it's also you always have to expand and it's basically like Triple H says it the best. He honestly does, because he says you either adapt or you perish, and he says it perfectly. Makes the most sense. You either adapt yourself, your character, your moveset, everything about you, or no one's gonna want to watch you.
Your movesets aren't there. Your movesets aren't there to just be a spot.
Look at Slater, one-man band by himself. Got his ass kicked. Starts teaming up with Rhino, becomes legitimate. See, it's all about adapting.
The big problem with modern day wrestlers I find is that they treat their movesets as if it's just a spot. Like, oh, I have to get this spot in, this spot. The thing about a moveset is you're trying to tell a story. That's the thing about in-ring wrestling. You're trying to tell a story. If you're a guy like Baron Corbin and you're doing frickin' a springboard backflip onto a guy...
Corbin... This is a perfect example of someone who adapts.
Corbin has adapted.
Corbin adapts with every match. You obviously
I've already praised...
He studies his opponents. You obviously know that.
I praise Baron for getting better.
And his moves are freaking devastating.
I applaud
D6,
Baron.
The end of days.
I applaud Baron I applaud Baron for trying to be different. He's not just going with the established. And by established, you guys know what I mean. I mean, he's not just running out there, hitting a couple weak-ass, fake-looking punches, hitting some big high spot, going to the top rope, missing a flip, doing a suicide dive through the ropes. He's trying to be his own character. It's a good example. You want to be your own guy. If you're going out there and doing the same shit as the other guy, there's no way for me to care about you. There isn't. If you are all going out there and all of you are doing the same shit, who's going to care about you? Who?
Another example. Everyone kept complaining about John Cena. Oh, he doesn't do this. He doesn't do that. He doesn't upgrade his moveset.
He finally updates his moveset. He finally updates his moveset.
And then he updates it. Half Nelson neck breaker. That swinging face.
Even if it wasn't good, at least that springboard cutter, even if it wasn't really good,
that did not work for Cena at all.
Yeah, that's a good example of moveset. Don't work. Springboard cutter, John Cena. He tried it though. I'll give him credit for trying something different.
He tried it.
And he did drop it eventually from his moveset because it didn't work.
Another move that worked, I'm just going to throw this one out there. Hurricanrana. He hit a Hurricanrana, hit CM Punk with the attitude adjustment afterwards. 1, 2, 3. Headed to WrestleMania against The Rock again. I have the poster somewhere around here.
I have that poster somewhere around here. But that's the big thing about movesets. If you're an inspiring indie wrestler, try and be different. Don't go out and, you know what? People have been talking about it. We haven't even talked about it yet. That whole Rip Rogers tweet thing, where he tweeted the thing about indie wrestling, I found it hilarious, especially he's Humpty Dumpty, we all fall down, dive, all that stuff. I have to say, he does bring up a kind of a good point. He brings up a damn good point about it. Yeah. I mean, if you go to most local indie shows nowadays, it is like that. And he is right. And he's not ripping the guys. He's not trying to insult the guys. The guy's been training people for years. The guy's been in the business for 20, 30, 40 years. He knows what he's fucking talking about. And of course you can say about, the old school guys. Well, I'm sorry to say it, but the old school guys, they have points at times. And this is one of those points. If you're going to be an indie wrestler, don't go out there, do some sort of... Don't go and see what everyone else is doing and then copy it. Because you're not going to get anywhere.
No.
You aren't. Don't go out there and start doing the Strong-style strikes and doing a suicide dive.
Example. Right now in the WWE, you have 2 guys on Raw.
Yep. Oh, I know where you're going with this, yeah.
Who have the exact same finisher.
My God, I hate it. This may be a personal pet peeve of mine.
Dallas, who you all remember from the Bo Leaf.
If you forgot about him. I wouldn't blame you if you forgot about Bo Dallas' existence.
What it needs is what I am, Elias Sampson.
El Vagabondo! Oh, I forgot Elias.
Yeah, Elias Sampson and Bo Dallas both use a move that is used by someone who is not in WWE anymore, but used to be. They both now use the Crossroads.
If they're on different brands, I can understand, because they're not going to meet each other. But in the sense where they're on the same brand.
If you have a match between Elias and Bo, it's going to be just them hitting the same move on each other.
Here's the other thing. Again. Now, it sucks for Bo and Elias, too, because guess what? If Elias hits the fucking Crossroads and pins a guy 1, 2, 3, and Bo hits a guy with, let's say it takes Bo 2 Crossroads, well, that makes Bo look fucking weak.
It does.
Because now, you may be able to use the Crossroads and beat this guy in 2, but Elias Sampson only took 1. What does that say about Bo?
Exactly. And
that doesn't make him look fucking good.
And I want to go back to the adapter parish thing, because there's something else that's been interesting me. I am interested to see, because we saw it on Ring of Honor this week.
Yeah, we get Ring of Honor.
They showed it. Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, added Marty Scurll.
A great choice.
Adam Cole has been kicked out. And
great
now,
choice.
I'm wondering, is Adam Cole going to adapt from this, or is he going to perish from this?
I think it depends. Is he NXT bound? Is he New Japan bound? Where the fuck is he going?
I don't think he is, because he still has matches because he has a match next week with Hangman Page. That one's going to be really interesting.
I don't know, because I think they taped... So for you who don't know, Ring of Honor tapes their episodes, I think, every month. So if you watch a month of Impact episodes, that's one taping. I don't read the taping spoilers. I don't. One, because I don't like to be spoiled. I like to enjoy matches and watch them. If I wanted to read a match, then what's the point of watching it? That kind of takes away from the excitement of it. So I don't know what they're doing with the Ring of Honor, but they're pushing towards Adam Cole.
And also, now that Adam Cole's out, and now that he has this match with Hangman Page, right, and this whole thing with Marty Scurll and all that, if he beats Hangman Page, I'm just wondering if he's going to get a Ring of Honor television title shot now.
No, he did have his one title shot, and he lost. It does bring up an interesting question.
I'm just wondering if now he's going to get a rematch because of this. Like, what I see is if Adam Cole does beat Marty Scurll for the title, I know exactly what's going to happen. Adam Cole is going to come out, and he's going to say at the next Ring of Honor New Japan joint pay-per-view, he's going to put the title on the line against the Kenny Omega.
If Kenny Omega isn't already heavyweight champion.
Right.
We have to wait for the Minion to see if he's going to win the title. But, Kenny got his visa. Yeah, Kenny finally got that American visa, folks. So, all you people in America, you can finally get to see Kenny Omega can finally come over there.
You're lucky.
You see, here in Canada, we don't have to worry about that since he's a Canadian citizen. So, he can come here whenever he feels like. But you guys, we mentioned it a couple weeks ago, how we were talking about why a Kenny Omega-Adam Cole rivalry doesn't work. Because if they held it in Ring of Honor, Kenny can't appear in Ring of Honor because he doesn't have his American visa. And Adam Cole would have to travel to Japan, which will it's a complicated process. But it depends.
Now,
a big thing about these tapings within the next 2 weeks is you're going to figure out what Adam Cole's plans are. Because, hypothetically, if, let's say, he beats Paige, he loses to Marty beats him clean, blah, 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 there's a good chance that could be a send-off. Good chance. Because if you're a wrestling promoter, you're not going to make the guy who's leaving look strong.
However, if I think I know Adam Cole, which I think I kind of do, even though I've never met the guy, I'm not saying I actually know him.
I'm not saying I actually know him.
I just have a good feeling that no matter what happens, he's not going to leave Ring of Honor until, one, he either beats or gets rid of Kenny Omega.
Which ain't happening.
He could possibly beat him. He could possibly. He's not going to leave until he puts the Bullet Club into utter chaos.
Which probably isn't going to happen.
Probably isn't going to happen either. But
it also depends.
It seems like it's going down one of those directions where Adam Cole is going to do whatever he can to make the Bullet Club's life a living
Adam Cole
hell.
seems like the guy who doesn't just leave in the middle of a storyline. He doesn't seem like the guy who just leaves. He's still taking indie bookings.
I think he's going to cost all those guys in the Bullet Club who have titles, I think he's going to cost them their championship. I think he's going to cost Marty Scurll his championship. I think he's going to cost the Young Bucks their championships. And you know what? I don't blame him. He's angry. I don't blame him. I will admit he was a bit of a douchebag dick.
Ring of Honor didn't make Adam Cole look good in the eyes of anyone. No offense, but they didn't make him look like a great leader in the Bullet Club. They didn't. They made him look like kind of a dick leader.
They built him up and then they kind of just dropped him, and now they're just like, okay, well, now that you've dropped...
And now that you're probably leaving... We don't really have any... It's like Kyle O'Reilly. They kind of just randomly sent off Kyle O'Reilly. Kyle O'Reilly got sent off. Kyle O'Reilly just abruptly left.
Which is making also this Cody thing perfect. Because also, if you didn't watch Ring of Honor...
If you don't get Ring of Honor...
Cody came out after the whole Bullet Club thing.
Which is kind of weird that he wasn't out with the Bullet Club, but... Sure.
Whatever. Anyways... And Cody made a lot of interesting points. My God.
I give Ring of Honor credit. If Ring of Honor had this, all planned out, everything Cody said, it was smart. But if they just caught this... If they just figured it out, after the whole moment had happened, then that's kind of...
So I just want to fill everyone in so everyone knows what you and I are talking about. So what happened was Cody came out.
He did the whole speech that he did a couple weeks before where he's like, oh, I'm a free agent. They don't want me winning the title.
They don't want a free agent holding their most prestigious
the thing he's been doing for a couple weeks.
And that I could take the title anywhere I want and blah, blah, blah.
The thing he's been doing for a couple weeks.
But he mentioned something new this week. He mentioned that in that triple threat match with Daniels and Lethal, even though Daniels hit the best moonsault ever and pinned Cody, he still had the figure 4 locked on Jay Lethal. And Jay Lethal, his shoulders were down.
Which counts as a pin.
Which means Cody pinned Jay Lethal the same time Daniels pinned Cody. Which means it should have ended in a draw. Or it should have just been Cody and Daniels and Jay Lethal should have been out of the match. At that point.
Or something. Cody was alluding to one of those 2 points. I don't fully know which point he was alluding to, but that seems to be the point. But it is an interesting point.
It looks because now also Daniels' partner Frankie Kazarian, well, he's having a rivalry with Hangman Page, and then you have to think Daniels and Cody, their issues aren't over. So I'm thinking Cody's going to get a one-on-one rematch.
Probably.
And a part of me is kind of hoping that Cody comes out on top.
A part of me, I don't like to see. I'm gonna say I don't want to see Christopher Daniels lose. He looks so happy. I'm
happy for him.
I really love Christopher Daniels.
He deserves it.
He does deserve it. He was one of the first people.
He deserves it more than anyone.
Ring of Honor right now. He deserved that for title shot. The other thing is that
He may deserve it more than anyone in Ring of Honor's history.
If anything, if you think about it, the other big thing is that they're really trying to keep the Bull. No offense to Adam Cole, but them trying to push Adam Cole the way they did kind of brought the Bullet Club down a bit. Because you have to think,
Which is why they let him go.
there was AJ, there was the brief period where the Bullet Club was and then there was Adam Cole. And Adam Cole, actually, that has been the Bullet Club for less than a year before he was kicked out. Less than a year. And I've mentioned it before, yes, I do think Marty Scurll is a better person to have in the group. I think he works better with the group. I think he will work better with the group. I think he's a better character for the group. And I think Adam Cole didn't need to be in the group.
But I think Adam Cole was right about the fact that the Bullet Club made a mistake for one reason. Adam Cole has been, even though he may not have been in there for a year, he got very, very, very close with the Bullet Club. Which means he knows them inside and out. Which is why I said I think Adam Cole's not going to leave until he makes the Bullet Club suffer. Because he knows what he has to do in order to make the Bullet Club suffer. I think he knows what he has to do. I truly think he knows what he has to do in order to get up on the Bullet Club. Because I can't see Adam Cole leaving without saying, okay, well, I've basically,
been kicked out.
I've been kicked out. I got my revenge, and now I'm out.
You guys, booking squad, don't care what you do, I'm gone. Yep, sorry, Delirious.
The point I'm trying to make is Adam Cole's not going to leave until he gets revenge. Or tries to.
I think it also depends on, I wonder what Delirious's mindset is in all of this. Delirious being the head booker and all. I wonder what his opinion is in all of this. I wonder how... That's another thing. You also have to think, what's Delirious? If you can hear me, what are you going to do, buddy? It also depends on how long Adam Cole does stay. Because if he's... Hypothetically, I'm assuming Adam Cole, he was at the last tapings, obviously. So he's obviously staying a month longer. No, it depends on if... I don't know if he's going to be at the second tapings. I've heard he isn't. Which does present quite a bit of a challenge, because if you only have, let's say, the first tapings, which, by the way, again, the taping is about a month, that's kind of a rush for a storyline. Big rush for a storyline there, to kind of blow off. And again, I'm sure they don't want another Kyle O'Reilly, where Kyle lost the title at Wrestle Kingdom, kind of just came out, thank you, Kyle, left, goodbye, he's in Evolve now. He's doing Evolve shit. I don't think they want another one of that.
No.
Definitely not. Especially since they built Adam Cole so much. And it's going to be hard to build Cody up to the level that Adam was. Building Cody... Because Adam Cole was a big part of Ring of Honor. He had been with Ring of Honor for years by the time he joined the Bullet Club and won his...
Well, you also have to think he was trained by Matt Hardy, too. And he had that huge rivalry with Matt Hardy, too.
Cody's only been here for less than a year.
But he's made such a huge impact since he's...
And yes.
That's the other thing. Cody's a free agent. But you know what? Him leaving the WWE was the best thing he ever did. I'm sorry, but it was. Probably. I know his family's always been a part of WWE.
I think for him personally, I think it was good for him. They say it's good to always... They say it's good... In wrestling, it's always good to...
I remember reading an article. His father, before he died...
He told him to leave.
Just told him, get out of there. And you know what? He did, and that was the best thing for him.
Now he's treated like he's a fucking god.
He looks good in Ring of Honor, and he looks good in Impact. No matter where he goes, he looks good, and he plays the part.
No, I myself,
top Bullet Club member.
Now, I myself have never been the biggest Cody. I know there's people who are ultra Cody Rhodes fans. I'm not really in all that group. I like Cody Rhodes. I do. I think he's a pretty good in-ring worker. I think he's definitely good on the mic. And I think him... Now, of course, at the start, I wasn't really excited for him, the Bullet Club. Again, I think the Bullet Club needs to be completely reworked. But I think Cody's the best... I think Cody can partially work. Now, am I going to say that I want to see Cody win everybody's world title? Do I want to see him? No, I don't. I was actually I actually kind of groaned when I heard he may be in the G1 Climax. I groaned because I'm like, really? Of all the people, Cody's going to be in the G1 Climax. But of course, now he may not be. But with a guy like Cody, what Cody brings to the table is name value. That's a big reason for it.
Bro, he doesn't have his last name.
He doesn't. He still brings a name value to him. People know who he is. I'm sorry to say it. I know there's a lot of people who hate on former WWE guys who get big pushes in the indies, but there's a good reason for it. They have the name value to them. They have the national and international exposure.
And with Impact and Ring of Honor, Cody's moveset has been not only upgrading, but he's been getting a lot better.
And no offense to Ring of Honor. He looks
better right now than he's ever looked in the WWE. Ever.
And no offense to Ring of Honor, but no offense to anyone who treats Ring of Honor like a god. But they really are in need of some national attention. Not even international. They aren't even at the international level yet for Ring of Honor. And it sucks for Ring of Honor. They're getting places. Ring of Honor is expanding, but they're not even at the national level yet where they are fully American-wide. Which obviously sucks for them. Especially when you compare it to guys like Impact who are working in Indian fucking television taping, and poor Ring of Honor just got it's just getting like Los Angeles television coverage.
Right.
And Impact has fucking worldwide coverage. But of course, it's a growing process. And yes, you do want name value. No offense, but if I brought you a guy, I said this before because there was rumors that Michael Bennett could be joining SmackDown's roster, and of course there was a couple people who were like, "Oh, that's great, he's going to be a big star." And I said, and I'm going to tell you, if Michael Bennett joins the WWE and he goes right to SmackDown, he is going to fail.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's say, promise you, less than 5% of people in the stadium when they first see him are going to know who he is. I promise you. Barely nobody's going to know who he is. And I said this with bringing indie talent to the main roster. Unless you're a guy like AJ. A guy like AJ, sure. But anybody else in that category, you can't bring them into the main roster and expect them. That's what people assume. They assume that, oh, well, this guy was popular. I don't give two fucks I don't care if he was fucking an 8-time Impact Ring of Honor, fucking anybody's world champion. Nobody's going to know him. You know who they're going to know? They're going to know Maria. They're going to know Maria because she's a former WWE girl. They're not going to know who the fuck Michael Bennett is. No. Michael Bennett isn't really a big... Bennett wasn't the biggest...
We don't even know if they're actually going to go with the miracle gimmick.
They don't know. They don't know what he's going to do. Hell, Michael Bennett wasn't even that big of a name on the fucking indies. No offense to him. He only really started getting attention, when he went to Impact. And he was in Impact for what? Maybe a year? Maybe even less than a year Michael Bennett was in Impact?
Yeah.
About a year? That's when he really started to kick himself off. And now he's apparently joined WWE. Well, no offense, but if you throw him on SmackDown, he ain't gonna go anywhere. I shouldn't say he isn't. There's the possibility... Oh, maybe Michael Bennett could succeed. I doubt it.
Yeah.
I very much doubt Michael Bennett will succeed on SmackDown.
Right.
But still, you can't expect to throw indie guys on the main roster and for them to succeed. You can't.
Right. Because
nobody's going to know who they are. Just because you know a guy. I know guys like Corey Hollis, Fred Yeehee, Jason Kincaid, etc. $5. Even people who watch Ring of Honor and Impact weekly aren't going to know who they are. Because they just don't matter.
Right.
They're small-time indie guys.
Yeah.
That's why you have NXT. To try and get people over. Imagine if a guy like, I don't know, Bobby Roode went right to the main roster. Would he be as successful? Probably not. And that's all because people won't know him. There's not a lot, most of the people won't get who they are. They don't watch indie wrestling 24/7 to see every indie wrestler. Take La Sombra. Andrade Cien Almas, or whatever the fuck they call him now. La Sombra. Well, if he debuted on the main roster, he probably has about as much exposure to people as fucking Michael Bennett ever did. At least he was on the second biggest of North American promotion. Fuck, at least people may know him. Fucking Michael Bennett, what? He was in Ring of Honor as a tag team with Michael Bennett.
Right.
And then he went to Impact with Maria. Stayed for about a year, left after the whole Anthem takeover, and now he's apparently signed with WWE. Well, fuck. I'm not gonna know him. No one's going to know him. We don't even know what he's gonna be like. Crowd isn't going to get into him just because he's the husband of Maria. They're gonna be more into Maria than they ever are fucking Michael Bennett when he comes out.
Yeah.
But